You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show.
He's watching with a candy man.
I was gonna dance, but this is not for me.
Jackie's giving a performance.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Lip sync for your life.
Much of a man by the light of day, but by night I'm one.
She's doing it.
Jackie's on stage and she is like giving it, like she's putting
so that we can actually do
her
our
all
show.
into it.
So
I'm sure they're not that interested in that.
I was thoroughly enjoying it. That was great.
Thanks.
Great family fun. Two very enthusiastic thumbs up.
Thanks.
there we go. Welcome
I
everybody
really
to
would want to play that part if I was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Thanks.
another episode of Drag Race After Show,
Did I smear my
starring
mustache? Jacque Borowski.
And what are you doing, Jackie?
First, I was lip syncing for my life, and now I am wearing Butch Queen Executive Realness, courtesy of a fan, Jay Niven 78. I know my Butch Queen Executive Realness, according to Stephen Lemieux, is Charlie Chaplin realness.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you were giving, and then you gave the category, and I got all confused.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were giving, but I was liking it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
When I was at home, it was Toreador realness. So I'm Toreador. Who's the bull person?
Toreador.
Toreador.
Or a matador?
Matador.
yeah.
Wow, you guys messed all that up.
You know what? We're all over the map here with you today.
I just sat here with a blank face.
But if you guys give me suggestions, I will come dressed up.
Oh my
so
god.
there you have it. We're gonna
At
have
1, 2, 3, Jackie B.
There you go.
I can't.
And across from me, the lovely.
We have me, your host, Tony Moore.
Welcome back, Tony.
Hi. I missed y'all last week. I really wish I was here last week.
Yeah,
The fans
couldn't
missed
be.
you. We got some angry messages. Where's Tony?
But that's okay.
Yeah,
He's back,
I'm back
here now.
And look who we're joined by.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Who are you?
I am Jason J. Carter.
From the pit crew.
See, this is why I had to
It's
dress.
you.
This is why I had to dress in man drag, because I knew Jason would steal my thunder.
Man drag, I love it. And boy drag.
Why are we still playing Sweet Transvestite?
yeah.
Because in the studio, we have, in the booth actually, is
Hey, what's up, guys?
Steven
Stephen Lemieux.
playing
Lemieux.
Lemieux.
our drag intro for Jackie. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Cameron's not with us tonight. He's busy doing other things, but we miss him.
He's at his job.
Yeah, basically. And we open
And
well.
you're Kenny.
Oh, yeah. I am Kenny. I feel like I'm yelling. It's like,
Oh.
That's fine. We can hear you.
okay, I'll
Yeah.
just
Hot
whisper.
mic. Hot mic.
I'll whisper.
Hot mic.
I'm Kenny Harrison, and
Hot mic.
this is Drag Race, episode 5.
Five.
Sorry, Snatch Game, episode 5.
Snatch.
Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, make your comments. If you're watching us, or if you're listening to us on iTunes, make a comment there. And if you're joining us live, thank you for watching us. Call us. And I apologize, I don't have the number. I know it's 424-256-1729.
Never
I
knew
knew
it.
it. I knew it.
He's the only one
I have a good
know.
memory.
Yeah, it's the only one I
That's what I
know.
remember from way
old
back in
timey
the
times.
So guys, we've arrived to the Snatch Game. What do you guys think of this episode?
I love this episode. I always look forward to this episode on Drag Race.
I look forward to the Snatch Game episode. However,
Pit crew was not on the Snatch Game episode.
Where
were
in the
y'all?
beginning. Me and Miles were in the beginning, holding up, introducing. I winked, and first of all, yesterday on Twitter, a fan was like, "Jason's always doing too much on the show, right?" It's okay though, because I retorted. I was like, "Listen, I do as directed."
Not
Hold
retorted.
on. Yeah. What was that term again?
Retorted.
Not
Is that-
retorted.
is
Not-
A retort in the
retort?
past.
Okay. I thought it was like.
Like I was retorting.
No.
But me and
I know
Miles-
what retort.
Me and Miles were in the beginning of the show, but back to the episode of the Snatch Game. Yeah, I think it's one of the best episodes every
It's
season.
the one that's most looked forward to.
Yeah.
But this season 6 episode of the Snatch Game was kind of lackluster.
I mean,
I agree.
I would have to agree too. Somebody said that this was the best, in which I tweeted back, "Are you sure about that?" Because I'm pretty sure there were some other Snatch Games that were a little bit better than this one.
Season 4.
I think for me,
Season 4 was really good.
I think for me, I because I watch and I see where it's going to go, and I think that it was too predictable for me. Because if you watch as RuPaul is going through the workroom, they're only airing the ones that you're going to be watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you look closely, and we should just go ahead and get into it now, the 4 that were safe tonight, they weren't included in her going through the workroom.
And can I?
Which led for me to believe that they were going to be safe and that we wouldn't see them much through the Snatch Game.
But I kind of feel like I don't know, in editing they like pick and choose who they're gonna feature.
Right.
And I didn't catch on to that those were the safe ones. I was just like, as I was jotting down, I was like, oh, they missed some people.
Go back and watch it and you'll see.
Well, I think they were looking in any reality show. The stronger personalities are gonna rise to the top, and you also have to remember that when they're creating the show, I mean, they have to have stories, and the producers and the line producers and whatnot. I'm sure they have their favorites too of what everyone interprets things differently. So you may love Adore Delano, but I'm like a huge Cornillac fan, but or Milk or whoever, but a producer may not be at all enthralled with any of those 4. They may like Gia Gunn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but as far as the Snatch Game goes, the reason why I was disappointed with it is because you have to really go in. Like they said, Drag Race is the Drag Olympics. So everything you do, you have to show up and show out.
Yes.
And I felt that, you know, it just didn't seem organic, or there was no star factor. Nothing moved me like it used to in the previous seasons. And there were some epic fails.
There were some.
I think there were a
fails.
lot, but I think the one Ben De La Creme was by far.
Yes.
I am a big
Hilarious.
Downton Abbey fan. I watch
Yes.
it. I love Maggie Smith, and she was. The only problem that I had is, and when Ru was giving the walkthrough in the workroom, he was doubting. He was like, "Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. I've never done a British accent," and he nailed it.
He nailed it.
And it
That's
was
why I was like,
amazing.
Someone's being modest.
Yeah.
I mean, but see, that's the thing, though. They every season someone's doubting their ability and doubting, you know, Ru clocked me in the workroom. Ru, you know, you get that music that's like, oh, Ru just read you, that house down. But I knew Ben was going to come with it. And at first, I was
because he's an actor. He's an actor. Essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And at first I was just like, because I don't see these. When we're filming, I don't see these challenges.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I'm sequestered. I don't see anything that's going on. So when I saw it last night, I was like, wow, Maggie Smith, not a very dynamic personality per se, like, you know, but
if you watch, do you watch Downton Abbey?
Of course I watch Downton.
Okay, so you know where she was pulling a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah,
she's very quick-witted, and very, you
she's
know,
smart.
Right.
She's smart.
So.
Okay. Don't want to cut you off.
Tony Moore, everybody.
Did y'all notice Ru's reads? Ru, when she's walking through the workroom, she slightly reads them a little bit.
Slightly, she does it a lot.
Yeah, it was not slight.
That was nothing. That was very intentional.
Right. It was like, yeah, you're a hot mess.
Bye.
Yeah, you're going home.
like with Gia, she's like, I am not buying it. I am not buying it at all, Gia. And Gia was trying her best to explain how she was gonna make Selena funny just by saying hola and something preguntas.
I think for me was Adore when she said, yeah, you're going to do Yolanda and eating pizza.
Yeah, I love pizza. I got shot by Yolanda.
And the thing is, as wrong as that was, I thought it was hilarious.
Leave it to Adore to keep it one trill, to say exactly.
I love it.
And again, touching on the characters this season on Drag Race, I think Adore is one of the best ones because he's the most authentic and true to self on camera and off camera.
I can see that. And at
Very
first,
much so.
and I was saying when we first started this season, he was the one that I wasn't too sure about, and I actually thought he would be getting on my nerves. But as the show progressed, he's becoming a favorite of mine, and I really enjoy.
Yeah.
His Anna Nicole Smith was another one. It was
spot
on.
Spot on.
However, I can't remember. I think it was Michelle or one of the judges said that when he was on the runway, it was still Anna Nicole Smith and not RuPaul.
It was.
And I can kind of
see still
that.
Adore. they saw Adore and not RuPaul.
No, but
to me,
one of the judges did.
Yeah,
say
one of
that-
the judges, I think it was Heather McDonald, said that you're still doing
Anna
Nicole Smith.
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt it was very Anna Nicole Smith. I only felt like there were only 4 queens when I was watching it that I was like, okay, this is up to season 6 standard.
Which 4? Because I had 4 queens too.
Okay, so mine were Adore.
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
obviously. Bianca,
Yes.
obviously. And then Darian Lake.
Oh my God, those were the same 4 too.
Nice!
We're thinking the same way. I had stars by
But
him.
however, I will say this: I didn't see enough of Darian.
Me neither.
In the episode.
But
I
I
thought she
feel
got short
short end of the stick.
sighted.
Yeah, but she was still in there. Like every time someone would say something, she would retort back just like
Right.
Bianca was.
Right.
So I think she probably was in there, but due to editing, I think they kind of edited her out a
Which
little
is
bit.
what I think Logo should have an extended version of the actual Snatch Game.
Yes, like they did
I
with the
would have loved.
musical.
I would love to see each one how they answered the questions. I think that's funny, and we didn't get any, answers or responses from Darienne, which was kind of unfortunate because we know that she's like quick.
Yeah.
She's funny, but we
She
didn't
is
see
funny.
that.
I didn't. She didn't do it for me, and Laganja Estranja didn't do it.
Oh.
I
Lord,
mean,
no.
epic. And okay, I'm sorry, Twitterverse, AfterBuzzers, whatever. Not epic fail. I apologize for that because these young men and these gentlemen really are talented and do amazing work on the show.
Yes.
However, I do feel that Laganja, for the eleganza Estranja that she is, and all this fanfare that goes into her being, I for sure thought, who was she supposed to be last night?
Rachel Zoe.
Rachel Zoe. Okay, no offense, but Rachel Zoe was never ever a huge personality for me.
No.
I'm like,
But she's still a funny personality because I used to watch the Rachel Zoe Project religiously just because she's just a funny little lady to me, and she's always like, oh my God, I died when I saw that. Like, just.
But see that you can say the same for Kim Kardashian too. Like I don't feel like
Gia, that was suicide.
It was.
Gia
But
again was
here's
trying
the
to be
other
pretty.
thing. If you've seen impressions of the Kardashians on SNL, you know that they can
Be played up.
They can be played up.
Of course.
Yes.
See, here's the thing. With it being season
the thing?
6,
What's the thing?
and with this, and with the Snatch Game, this is something that you know that you're going to go into.
Right.
So, I even think for their audition tape, it was either back then or even now, they're required to show their character.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're going to pick someone like Kim Kardashian, you don't come out looking fishy, fish. You come out with every funny thing possible
Over
about
the top,
her.
exactly.
One of the judges said, the big butt, the big breast, like just everything, taking selfies
blow
all
up
the time
Kanye.
and things like that. Like there are so many funny things about Kim Kardashian that could have been played up that Gia did not do. Like she sat there and tried to look real pretty and fishy and thought just by saying big black dick that, am I allowed to say big?
Well, you already said it, so
You
it's our the.
that would be
That
funny
cat
and
is out of the
hilarious.
bag.
So I mean,
Well, Gia, here's the thing, Gia, you are Asian, so right then and there, that's what didn't do it for me. Because listen, if you're gonna impersonate someone, please at least last season, Roxy Andrews did Tamar, right? It was bomb. It was believable because she was able to somewhat look close to Tamar-esque-ish.
Yes.
However, Gia, I kept getting Kamora Lee Simmons the whole
Yes.
night. I was like,
Yeah.
Kim was, no way in hell. If God descended upon the earth and said, Gia, you need to look like Kim Kardashian, would you look like Kim Kardashian? You know what I'm saying? It's like, she should have stuck to Selena.
first off, if she stuck to Selena, I'm trying to figure out how was she going to make Selena funny.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no way to make that.
There was
funny.
no way to make Selena
No
funny.
way.
I
No
mean-
way. None.
How how would you make Selena funny?
Oh, well, I grew up in New Mexico, so I grew up listening to Selena, and I went to 3 Selena concerts before she was murdered. That's not funny. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. And so I've seen funny Selena moments, like the way she dances and the way, like, there's just, if you really want to get into a character, you can study a character and figure out and pull things to at least everyone has nuances, even, I don't know, who's boring as hell. Pierce Morgan has nuances that you can imitate,
Yeah.
It just depends on how well you want to study that
Well, I
character.
think that's what, and I think you said it. Someone said it about the Saturday Night Live thing. They take anybody and
Yeah.
make them funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, they're professional actors, and that's what their job is. But I agree with you. But
Yeah.
what I kind of disagree is Gia doing the. I think it's okay for her to do a character who is not the same race as her.
Yeah.
I think the whole problem was that the choice in character, she didn't make it funny.
She didn't
No.
pad herself up, which
Yeah.
she should have done.
And then also, like, right before they're supposed to go out, she still didn't know who she was going to do. If
Yeah,
she was going to
that
be
is-
Selena, if she was going to be Kim Kardashian. And, of course, that's going to mess you up,
Right.
too,
Yeah.
because
Mentally.
you're not in the mindset of where you need to
She
be
could
for
have
Snatch
brought out a
Game.
baby for that.
I thought she should have had a blow up Kanye doll and like there's a lot of things she could have did. Just touching on Darian Lake and being Paula Dean. See, that didn't read for me either.
But I don't think we saw enough of it. I didn't see enough of it.
I
got the stick of butter. I thought that was funny when she
Yeah.
was eating the stick of butter, but that was
Yes.
just about it for me.
Yeah.
I thought to me, she sounded like Paula Deen. She looked like Paula Deen, and she had these funny quips, but I felt like she just got short shrifted for whatever reason.
But editing, that's the beauty of television.
So Logo TV put up an uncut version. Uncut version.
Uncut.
Extended.
Of Extended.
Bigger, longer,
Thank you.
uncut.
No, but I'm gonna stick with uncut. I like that better.
a longer uncut version
You might be
of the
saying
Snatch
something
Game.
else.
We like it long and uncut for the Snatch
So
Game.
for this episode,
Dirty.
do we all agree that starting the episode
Dirty.
with after April's elimination, that's got to go? I think that
Oh,
is
yeah.
a
We said
wasted
that.
time.
Yeah.
I think we said this last week.
Where they have previous and then they go into.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think every season has to change. Like you guys have seen the subtle changes in the season
Yes.
when Ru comes out and
Yes.
the music and everything. They have to do something in order. Even
To spice it up.
because people still like that.
Right.
The viewers want like that drama, and April Carrion's fans. That's her last final moment. So
Yeah.
Logo and World of Wonder, every season they have to think of new ways to keep the show fresh and different, and they move things around. So I agree. I don't think it's needed.
Right.
However, it's a nice, I guess.
Because I think it takes away from the Snatch Game. I think it takes away from the actual
Time
of the show. So.
But I think it also just allows banter between them as far as like the previous girl. Instead of it being so rushed, like, okay, she's gone by and then we're just going to carry on. It kind of lets us get back in like with the recap of it and what happened after. Like even now they're doing the whole when they're safe. They're following them backstage,
Which is
now,
wonderful.
and like their little commentary and other stuff that we normally didn't see.
But that you're
So-
talking on Untuck when they go.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but they
Okay.
never.
They never aired that before. Like when it's during the it's during
Season
the show,
one,
isn't it?
I thought.
But whenever the girls are safe, like they keep going with the
With camera,
presentation.
behind the
They never
Yeah.
follow the safe girls to like the lounge and
Right.
all that kind of stuff and hear their little dialogue and commentary on their way to
the lounge.
Because it used to be
Interior
Interior Illusions
Illusions.
Lounge. Now it's just
Now it's
the
the
lounge.
The lounge.
Now,
It's the-
no, honey, it's backstage in the bathroom while you guys go untuck
The
in the
Untucked
car.
Lounge. No, she called it the Untucked
When you're
Lounge.
untuck in the trailer.
Well, maybe you can answer the question. This question: you guys are shooting in a studio now, right?
It's a sound stage.
Soundstage. But before, wasn't it Music Box?
No,
It wasn't Music Box.
it's always been.
I think they always just use that
The
for
sign-
signage.
Yeah, it's always been a sound stage.
Yeah, okay.
And every season it's gotten more elaborate.
Right.
The sound.
Yeah, because we've never seen them actually follow through the soundstage before.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen that part of the.
But we
soundstage.
didn't have the lounge in earlier seasons.
That came in like season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interior Illusions.
Untucked and all that.
Because season 1, they were just in like a
They
green
were-
room.
yeah. it was
Season
like
1, they
a-
were in a shadow.
Yeah.
Season 1, they were in the dark. Is that real?
They were in the next room.
They were outside. you didn't know what was going on in season 1. The lost season for a reason.
I will say I was also disappointed with Milk's Julia Childs. I
Yeah.
felt
Oh,
like
yeah.
Okay.
he could have done so much with that. He could have.
I agree, and I think he's a beautiful person.
Beautiful. They're all gorgeous boys. I'm like, what?
But out of drag, he does it for me. However, I will agree with you. Julia Child could have been played up a lot more. I would
lot.
have watched Julie and Julia over and over again and watched Meryl Streep, and she even made it funny.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's a little static
Yeah.
in my ear. But I agree. And I think, for me, he should have been in the bottom 2.
I think so too.
well,
if we're judging, and this is the thing, I have a question. Do you guys think that they're judging on both Runway and Snatch Game, or just Snatch Game?
Well,
I think it was
both because and if we mean are we moving on to Runway?
We can jump around.
Okay, so here's the thing about Milk that I really like and that I'm really into is when he walked out on stage and as male Ru, I got chills. Reason being, the way he entered stage was like, get into this.
Yeah.
And the tip of his head was like, eat all of this. And Ru's face, and even Ru's face was like, okay. Another moment where Ru was like, oh my god, the hair reveal with Roxy.
Yes.
And Ru, like, genuinely, honestly, it was like, what am I looking at?
Right.
You know? And with Milk, I was like, yes. Because when Milan did Boy with Janelle Monáe in season 4, they clocked him for being a mask. It was a masculine fitting suit. You know, it's drag. It's not glamorous. Milk still said, you know what, I'm staying true to myself. I could put on all this girl glam drag, but this, you know, I think this version of Ru is far more interesting than the drag queen of the world Ru.
My only we all want to jump in. Go first.
Well, I said this to someone on Twitter earlier today, and the reason I think it's different than the Janelle Monáe thing, the reason I think it's also different than Alaska being the farm boy, is because, first off, the Alaska farm boy thing was just bad in general.
Yeah.
But then this was an assignment. Be Ru.
Right.
So he took the assignment in a way that no one else would have taken the assignment.
Exactly.
And so that to me is a little bit different, because it's not like, okay, you're given this thing and you just choose like a random boy option, but it's like, no, he chose Ru.
A very valid Ru, because Ru was in as a male throughout the show. I mean, it made sense to me.
Yeah.
However, my problem with it was the ball cap. It was
it was not
so
fitting.
showing.
It was ill-fitting.
Yeah.
It was, and even in tuck, there was behind his ear. It looked like a just tape that you could see, and maybe they couldn't see it on the runway because of the lighting. We've talked about this before, but it really bothered me. But you can see the front of it.
Well, it wasn't done. It wasn't
done
you know,
properly.
Right.
Hollywood quality ball cap.
Right.
But,
And I think, well, while we're talking about the Janelle Monáe thing, I didn't mind that one too much because that's her style, and she is a female.
Right.
So I didn't mind it too much. But you know, moving on to this Milk issue, I kind of agree. I want to see something more glam. You know, I want to see him step out and say, you know what, this isn't normally what I do, but I can do it, and I can do it well.
It's like maybe I'm first with. Sorry, go tell you.
Go ahead.
It's like maybe I'm first when she, you know, season 3 was always like, you know, I'm campy. I do comedic drag. I'm not glamorous. I'm not a pageant queen, whatever. Again, quoting Untucked, this is the Olympics of drag. You have to be a jack of all trades.
Right.
But I do think that, you know, the public and the fans are a little harsh because we're so judgmental of these people.
Yeah.
As far as Milk goes, what he did last night for me was brilliant. Because brave and brilliant. I could have done without his explanation of it. It's like, we get it. You're the antithesis of drag right now. But I'm like, good for you, because you looked great. It worked in the bravado he had. I mean, if you go back and watch when he stepped out onto the runway, he was like,
hello.
He walked and talked like Ru, and that's what I appreciated.
It was
too.
like, get a load of this. Like, all of you have Santino, have a seat. So I'm gonna have, you know, it was great.
What I love about Milk is that
he's beautiful.
You never know.
Guys are blinded by beauty.
You never know what he's gonna do.
Right.
Because he takes an idea and he totally, in his mind, just comes up with something just far out there rather than the typical, I want to go out there and look very pretty and polished. In my opinion, most of the girls did not have a Ru look. Like they were
two were close.
There were but out of all of them,
I want to know which two, because I had
out of all of them, there were some that really hit it. Like Darian Lake, I felt like even though she's a big girl, she hit that masquerade look. I thought Ben de la Creme, even though it wasn't like the feather exact look, but it was very close. Although I still see Michelle Visage when I look at him.
You can't get around that.
I can't get over that. But everyone else was kind of, and I still like it because it was Ru, but it was a blend of them as well. But I feel like the assignment was RuPaul.
But, so was that the assignment to be Ru or be inspired by Ru?
I took it as
Because
to be Ru.
I took it as inspired by Ru.
Oh.
Whoa.
And so Laganja for me was the top in that category, in that sense.
I thought she took the look that she had for the promos for season 4. That whole robotic look, and she took it and she made it her own. But she still had the hair.
Right.
She had somewhat of a body robotic, futuristic type of a thing to it. I appreciated that, but there were some looks that I was just like, you close in the vicinity, maybe took a wrong turn, and that's where you ended up.
I think what helped is when they did the split screens.
Yeah.
Of the actual, and which brought up the question that I have for all drag queens: do they all own something that's slightly?
They were. My guess is this is what I
close
thought.
to RuPaul's actual like.
Because I feel like they must have been asked that before the show started.
Here's a tidbit.
Tony has an inside track. Go ahead, Tony.
If I have this correctly, and I think I do, when you're chosen for the show, you're given like a list of possible of things to kind of bring. So I'm sure on there it had like a Ru look on there. So that was one of the things that they packed in order to make sure that they had for that challenge if they were still there for that challenge. So like when preparing for RuPaul's Drag Race, not only do you have to bring wigs and nails and glue and makeup and all that kind of stuff, but you also have this list of things that you need to bring with you as well for certain challenges and certain things. You don't know when it's going to be used, but you just need to have it.
But see, in this case, what are the chances of two queens having the exact same kind of outfit? They don't know what other people have. For instance, like even going back to the Snatch Game, I think it was Jocelyn said that she could do a better dresser.
Fran Drescher?
Yeah.
Courtney Act. Is that possible for two people to do the same character?
Probably not.
If that's what you like, if we were contestants and I thought of Fran Drescher, which I don't think I would ever do,
right?
And you thought of the same thing, how would that work out? How would that play out?
But I feel like they have to let them know who they're kind of planning to do. Either they're gonna like maybe a list of maybe possible 3. I don't know that for sure, but this is just my guess. So that way, if there were any that were kind of similar,
overlapping,
it's kind of like, well, who are you gonna pick and which one? So that way, maybe they don't overlap, and if they do overlap, like I don't know how they would exactly handle that, but yeah.
Ru, you know, call us. Obviously, she knows.
Right.
Courtney. I thought Jocelyn Fox could do a better Fran Drescher than Courtney Act.
But she still did great as Teresa. Jocelyn is actually really funny. Like her whole little opening
She's funny,
of like
I just didn't read Teresa.
Johnson.
Well, that whole little bit was funny to me. Like the pronunciation of her name, and then she was like, "We went way back to the beginning of Family, and it's Johnson." And I was just like, "That's funny."
And her coming answer was.
But you know, that's exactly like Teresa is one of those people where in her little interviews when she talks,
she screws up words.
She makes up words. She screws up words. Yeah, and she will sit there and blink and be like,
"That's right.
No,
bitch.
that's
the word.
No, that's it." Right. And so I love that little bit. Coming.
No, cumin. No,
coming. Can I get a Pinot Grigio? What is it called?
Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio. Yeah.
Coming.
So yeah. But she was one of the 4 that didn't really get a whole lot of airtime, which is unfortunate because I think she's funny.
She is
funny. Darian is funny. Courtney Act, I wanted to see something more from this episode.
I think they all, just like Laganja was saying, there were people who were succeeding, and then that makes you kind of be like, oh, like I'm obviously not up to par.
Right.
And then I think that's when you get in your head. It's like, oh my God, like I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to think. And that they mentioned Milk. His wheels were always turning because he was trying to think of stuff. And I think at that point in time, you just feel like you're failing. When you have someone like Bianca Del Rio, who from probably the time she entered and sat down was Judge Judy and never missed a beat. Now, in my opinion, I think sometimes she was too much. And that she should have not always been so ready to like reply with everything.
Okay.
Like I feel like she was great as Judge Judy. I'm not gonna take that away from her. But there were times where I was like, oh, she's talking again.
But again, I like that because I can see Judge Judy in that setting, and that's how Judge Judy is. She's in control of everything. If you ever watch the show, she's in control of the whole court.
Well,
so I didn't mind it too much. Plus, I actually like Bianca. I think I'm a big fan of hers.
I did too. I like Bianca.
So,
do you think that what happened in Untucked might have thrown Laganja in this episode? Because we talked about having those videos from home kind of be like a throwing you off your game because it makes you upset.
I have a difference of opinion because during Untucked and that whole exchange between her and Adore, and
this episode or last week?
No, this episode. When she was just like, there was something that you said, I can't pinpoint when it was, but it just made me feel, and Adore's like, well, what did I say?
Right.
Well, I just can't remember. You remember what someone says, right? Like if I guarantee you, if Jason said something tonight that made me mad and I held on to it for 2 weeks, I can let him know, this is what you said, this is the time you said it, and that's how I feel, and I still feel that way. But that was the first moment where I felt like, and you talked about people being authentic, like Adore and everything, I felt like this is another moment kind of related to last week about making sure you get that camera time. And I felt like this was a moment where there really wasn't a situation, but maybe we're going to create something in order for the camera and attention to be on me.
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about Untucked, forget Laganja and Adore. Trinity K. Bonet's reveal to America that she is HIV positive was I had no idea. I'm friends with these people now, and blew me away. Yeah. Blew me away. And Trinity K. Bonet, she did in the Snatch Game.
Nicki Minaj.
Bomb.com.
And you thought it was bomb?
She changed her wigs.
You thought it was bomb?
I don't think.
She copied Chad Michaels.
I don't think in the same seat.
Aside from that, I didn't see. Aside from the look, that was it. Nicki Minaj, you could have played that up.
But Darian Lake could have played. See, a difference of opinion we see aesthetically because I thought Darian Lake looked like a blonde Delta Burke. It didn't do it for me. Right. And also, Bianca Del Rio being Judge Judy, you saying that she was Team Too Much. I think that it goes back to who else was Team Too Much in season 3. Someone that was out of line in season 3 during the Snatch Game. Bianca Del Rio was a bit like in everyone else's, throwing stuff, being out of control.
I actually think that helped her. I think so.
She didn't win.
She didn't win, but I think it helped.
Yeah, the magic of editing, really, because I'm sure there's so much more that has gone on, or there's probably better moments that got left on the cutting room floor that would probably helped a lot of other people shine a lot more.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do I think out of the Snatch Game, the best one would have had to have been Bianca Del Rio for Judge Judy. She was the most believable in her character. Everyone else.
She was, but I think it was for me. It was really close between Adore, Bianca, and Ben. Those were like my top 3.
Bianca,
because
Ben.
Ben had some comebacks for Nicki Minaj about the whole English thing. I was rolling when she said that.
We invented the language.
Yeah, it was just those little things. It was just so quick and so right on it. But for me, Nicki Minaj, the look was great. The whole wig thing, I agree. That was so Chad Michaels. And if you're gonna do something, do it original. Do something original.
But if you're gonna change the wig, be ultra dramatic about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it should have been like a Nicki Minaj very tame, and then if you change the wig, it needed to be like
totally different,
something ridiculous.
Even because if I recall, Chad Michaels, when she not only changed wigs, she changed outfits, didn't she?
No,
or am I making that up?
It was just wigs,
but she had
about 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like she went from blonde to
she had
black,
the black,
and then didn't she have the Academy Award
thing? Yeah.
So those were dramatic changes. That was funny because every time they cut to her, she had on a different wig.
She was ready.
But she was also still in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Trinity Bonet was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't write anything down because I was trying to fix my wig."
And even that, you could have played that up to like a Nicki Minaj moment because she would have she would say stuff like that.
But Trinity, I'm Team Trinity for the simple fact that her look is always on point. point.
Her
on the
look is
runway.
always on point.
She is. I mean, at the premiere, what she had on was disgustingly. She's dope. Trinity K. Bonet is, and what blows my mind is that he's a very masculine dude outside of drag. He's real hood, but when he's in drag, he's ridiculous. And he even said on Twitter, you know, he should have won the first challenge that he was in because he was the best one.
Oh, I call that. I said that too.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know. Yeah, I agree. You're amazing. But back to Untucked, when you reveal, you become relatable. And when he revealed that he was HIV positive, people in the past have done that. But it was more shocking, I think, for me to hear from him because he's so young. One, he's only 23. And then the way he did, so Monica Beverly Hills last season, you know, I'm transgendered or I'm going through the change, et cetera, et cetera. And it was like, okay. But for
didn't Monica do it on stage? I thought.
Yeah,
And then Trinity
Monica did it on stage.
Trinity did it backstage.
backstage.
I think Angina did it on stage.
Angina
Yeah.
did it on stage
Yeah.
in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people online were saying it was kind of gimmicky that, you know, Drag Race always has that story. You know, they always have that moment. But I thought Trinity's moment was more powerful, and I think for me very well received, just because the way he just, you know, it is what it is. You know,
The way he described it, that, you know, that he does have HIV, but, you know, he still has so much to live for.
Yeah.
You know, and the things that he wants to accomplish.
And I think that was a great moment, but how this goes back to this whole, you know, this show is not rigged, but he was in the bottom 2 last week, and in my opinion, I think April did better in the challenge.
I think April did better in the challenge.
Having that said, do you think that she was not saved because of this moment, because of this reveal that we were eventually going to see later from Trinity?
I don't. It didn't seem like something that was contrived. Like I think it was something that she just freely decided to talk about.
Do you think they all have like these moments where their parents are sending them you know, video messages? Do you think all the queens have that, and they're just randomly picking that?
I think each one of them is going to have some sort of moment, whether it's a significant other or a parent or something related to their story.
Right.
Like knowing Laganja, I know that is a situation that she was going through, as far as when she started doing drag, it was a lot for her parents to handle. And so I think that goes along with her story.
Right.
You know, Trinity being able to tell about how her mom was in the hospital and, you know, saying that she wasn't going to leave her until she was on Drag Race because she hasn't been on Drag Race yet, and all that kind of stuff. That obviously went with her story. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes to these videos, they pick people specific to their story.
Right.
I'm pretty sure when, because we keep seeing Jocelyn Fox saying she feels guilty for being here.
We'll see that later.
Whoever is going to be in that video is going to be the reason why she feels guilty for being here, and that's going to be explained. So it's all about their story.
When producers pick cast members, they're not just picking people, and we talked about this a little bit in the first 2 episodes. They're not just picking people just because they're good at drag, because then you could have so many people on the show, because I'm sure there are tons of queens out there, and we've seen them in West Hollywood, that are just good at drag. But you also, if you're going to be on television, you also have to have a compelling story. So I'm sure that it's like, yes, you have these distinctive queens who are very good at drag, but you also have to have people that you want to watch, that you're engaged with, and you want to learn about them, because it's reality TV, so you want to hear that person's story.
But do you think it takes away from the competition?
Well, that's what we have to remember. This show is a competition.
Right.
So people speculate. I mean, I guess to me, I get asked questions all the time. Like, you know, what goes on behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The casting, whatever. First of all, the casting process is very involved. There's a lot of things that go into casting. There's a lot of rounds of casting for any reality show. And then once you get the cast and once you get things set in stone, now you have to realize that it is a competition. There's the integrity of the competition that must be protected. Like your question, Kenny, was, do you think that Trinity's reveal was the reason why she was safe? I don't think they filmed that. I don't think those correlated on the same day. You know, I don't think Ru knew that, or maybe there's certain things that the judges don't know about these people in order to protect the integrity of the competition that the producers and people behind the scenes know, because they have to create a story. There's like NDAs and things you sign to keep things, you know, under control. So yeah, and Jackie, to your point about, you know, they can get a myriad of people to do drag, but they want to get people to have compelling stories. I honestly feel that Drag Race has just gotten lucky with finding really unique people.
Yeah.
And so these really unique people come with these really unique stories. Because not every season is there like, oh my God, what was me? You know, like season 3, I don't think there was any kind of drama or anything like that, or no one dying or, anything like that. So it just depends on the people they pick and what baggage they come with.
Yeah, but I think the casting finds out about all of that through all the interviews and applications and all that kind of stuff.
But sometimes oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no,
I just feel like sometimes they overexploit it, like the producers do, to a certain extent. Not always, but to a certain extent.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the producers or the people on the show that are doing that.
No.
I more so, producers don't have anything unless you give it to them.
Exactly.
This is true.
But
they do know things.
They know things, yes, but they're not going. I don't feel like they come on and say, okay, tell them about this. You know what I mean? I don't feel like they do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just like Trinity. I don't think she probably had any intentions that day of revealing that, but they were just having a conversation and it came about.
Mm-hmm.
If she did it on the main stage, right
We'd
before
look at it
judging,
we would look at it
then it's kind of like, okay, now you want to play that card.
You're reaching.
But I think in the back, away from the judges, and not even in front of everyone.
Of them,
It was just the ones that were safe. Having a conversation, and then it comes up. It's like they have that, and now here we go with that.
Right.
So
I also feel that for me, her reveal was more. I had seen her struggling and she was frustrating me because watching someone who keeps struggling on a show where you're like, you're lucky to be on this show because there's such fierce competition. And so with her, I was just seeing a person who looked beautiful but was struggling in the competition. And so you kind of see, you're like, maybe this person felt like they had wanted to share this with these people the whole time.
Right.
And that was what was happening. And instead, where in other instances you feel like they're telling it to impress the judges or something like that because they're telling the judge panel and everybody.
Right, it's like saving grace. Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I will say that next week we do see Trinity K. Bonet in a very amazing new light. She, like I said, I can't divulge a lot, but the struggle that you see her going through, you'll be like, okay, like she comes into her own.
She reminds me a lot of season 2, the winner, Tara Sanchez, a little bit. How she was very like by herself. She didn't want to get personal with anybody. She wanted to be in that little shell, and then at the end of the day, she won. So I'm seeing a little bit of that with Trinity.
yeah.
But I think this reveal made sense to me in a way that her struggle started to make sense. I was like, okay, I get where you're coming at.
And again, it goes back to the authenticity of it. Like, Kenny, you hit the nail on the head. She could have easily been, oh my God, Santino, I'm just going like on the main stage where
Roxy Andrews. That was my thing last year.
But she was like, you know what? Look, I caught a case. I made some mistakes, but I'm here now. Let's keep it moving, and that's what I appreciate about her. The lip sync for Your Life. Okay, I have a request for Logo and World of Wonder. I love you guys, but can we get like a Janet Jackson song?
Yes.
Or something.
Something not boring.
But here's the thing: the reason why those songs are chosen is because they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, we get that.
To get the new material is very expensive. So I mean, for them to get some of the songs they do, every season they have that one where you're like, oh that was bomb, that was the one, that was the one, but not this isn't.
And I like Lisa and Cold Jam. I grew up on that.
I do like that song.
Michelle was like, that should have been my song back in the 80s.
I was a little disappointed in Gia in this lip sync. I felt like she was trying to just
hold on.
The poor wonky eye.
Let's first of all, okay.
Eyeball.
The RuPaul look for me, Gia.
On
I
Gia?
didn't Gia. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I didn't the wig, nothing.
First off,
worked.
Ru never had that whole black blonde
she
thing
did,
until this season.
Yeah.
Until this season. So
But
how is it that Gia tried to do that look now with that? It was not a Ru look at all.
I will say though, I kind of felt bad for her when Santino, when they were doing the critiques, and there are things that people can help, like their look, their wig. There's certain things that people can't help, like their wonky eye. And I think he made
you said wonky eye.
I said wonky eye.
But it is very noticeable, though. I mean, it is. Sometimes it's just like fluttering, and you have no idea where it's going to end up.
Here's part of the thing too. I think it has to do. It's not necessarily that the eye itself is wonky. It has to do. And I know I hate scrutinizing this because I have a wonky eye, and Kenny.
Jacque, I've never seen you have a. Really?
Oh, I totally have a wonky eye. I smile, and one eye is like.
Yeah,
we all have it.
It's like that teacher from Daria.
Right.
But we just heard Steve laugh. But it's the way she's putting on her fake eyelashes. One of them keeps sticking.
Right.
And I think that's what the problem is. It's like, I don't know, girl, if you're using too much glue or what, but it's like in her go away video, her takeaway video, the lash was sticking to her face.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny about Gia is that Gia on the premiere, Gia had showed the most promise to me when she came in, and her one-liners are on point. Her just landed tilapia. Everything about her was over the top, amazing. I remember when we were shooting the first episode with Mike Reese, she walks in. I'm like, oh my god, who is this girl? Like, because even her existence that day was just full out. And I guess they're all doing that because they want to make an impression. You know, it's their first episode, it's the first time we see them. So I was hoping for Gia to really, on the lip sync, be that same girl.
But she was concentrating on being fishy
and taking off the gown.
First off, if you're gonna, like Bianca said, if you're gonna do a reveal, we know it's coming off. Take the dress off.
But if you're gonna have something underneath it, have it be the shit.
Right.
Yeah, that was a bathing suit.
I was like,
what is this? Bathing suit.
This is my thing with the lip sync is that you know how the song is gonna be. So like the people who end up winning these lip syncs are the people who actually get the song and feel the song. So Laganja was like really in it, giving us the shablams, the splits, and all that kind of stuff. Gia was prancing around, trying to be real fishy, and then the voguing was just like that's one of those things where it's like, I need to do something to like hopefully save my grace.
I don't think that's a song that you would vogue to.
It's not a song that you would vogue to at all. It's a song that you would give us like a snake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
some
down
of
to
the
the
best
ground.
lip syncs have been, okay, let's go back to season 4, Latrice Royale. Her lip sync, I mean,
aside from the shoes coming off, I was okay with that.
To Natural Woman,
yeah.
Paula Kenya Michaels was just all around her, and Latrice embodied what that song
but again,
You
was.
can't beat Latrice at a lip sync, though.
Or
You
not
just
to
can't.
that song. I mean, that song is her.
But here's the thing, though. Any true performer, okay, I'm a huge Shangela fan, right? Shangela can lip sync to any song. I mean, her challenge in season 3 was country. Remember when they got to choose a genre? And she did, and I thought she was great. Tony, amen. They know the damn song ahead of time, and
you gotta feel it.
Half of these songs they've been singing them their whole life anyway. That's what blows me. That's what blows my mind about the lip sync. You, as a guy, a boy myself, I would probably out lip sync some of these girls to some of these songs because it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard to lip sync for your life. Just go in, know the song, and live. And I just don't understand why these queens, season after season after season, except for Latrice, have failed so miserably at that.
I think it's because it's definitely an it factor. Whatever that it factor is, no one has been able to explain it. But there are certain people who are able to walk out on stage and do absolutely nothing, and you are captivated by what they do. Like when Michael Jackson in the Super Bowl hopped up and stood there forever.
Well, he is Michael Jackson. That's another
but
thing.
again, he has that kind of star power. There are people who literally walk
just
out.
Envision Latrice hopping up out of this
out of a pop-up machine.
She wouldn't be like Michelle Williams. She wouldn't be like Wibbly Wobbly.
There would be no nice weave layout like Kelly Rowland. It would be a sight.
But basically,
I love Latrice. Sorry, I love Latrice too.
Basically, to say that there are some people when they're in that lip sync, you can tell that they turn desperate because they're not those natural people that you're gonna focus on. There are people who simply you just focus on because they have that it star performance quality about them.
Yeah, I agree. I say just the song. They know it's poor.
That's a fun '80s song.
Yeah,
Great song, but I don't think it's a lip sync song.
But what? None of them are lip sync songs, Kenny. They're all.
Last week, what did we have last week? I can't remember, but it was a good one.
Last week was good.
The best lip sync song they had was what? Slave, Britney Spears.
Yes.
That was amazing. Ever since then, that was the one where I was like,
What was the lip sync last?
I'm trying to remember because because it was the best one so far. I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
They had
because
it right.
Oh.
No,
It'll come to me.
another great lip sync was Dita and This Will Be Natalie Cole. That was great.
Oh yes.
I mostly
and
love that because of her cabaret like shuffle.
And the wig.
Yeah.
And of course Roxy and Alyssa
Oh,
with
yeah.
the whip your hair back and forth. And see, okay, that's another example. Roxy was like prepared. That's a moment that we will never forget. She didn't have long enough hair. She said this song is whip your hair.
I mean, stopped and was like, I got some for that ass.
And it went 22 inches and she was ready. Alyssa was not. But she still
Well, it
performed.
wasn't like she wasn't ready. She just didn't have that
Long
in her.
22 inches.
Yeah.
What I'm learning about, since being on Drag Race, before Drag Race, I wasn't really versed in the
with
world.
your drag?
No, versed in the world of drag at all. But
I'm sorry, you weren't what?
versed in drag. I had no idea. I knew drag queens existed, but I didn't know what it took to become a drag queen.
That's a lot.
And I will say that these young men are stars in their own right, and there's every reason why they are on the platform that they have now after every season, because it takes a lot to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that us as viewers, we're really caught up in the whole show, but we don't actually appreciate the art form that is drag. I mean, like, okay, you're like a fan of Bianca Del Rio, Ben de la Creme. He's exquisite every single time. That takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so I just, like on Twitter, people always ask, what do you think? What do you think? How do you feel about it? I will just say this for the Twitterverse, that the reason why drag is so mainstream now is because it is an art form akin to dancing, singing, movies. I mean, it's up there now.
Well, drag goes way back to Shakespeare time. I think that's where the term drag came from. So,
Kabuki.
Yeah. Kabuki.
As Gia did.
Yeah.
She should have did
Fresh
something from
to
Kabuki.
I had a question for you, since you weren't here last week, and we were talking about Milk and her outfit, and it just came to me. What do you think about her outfit last week?
Her pregnancy outfit.
Because
You know what? I didn't mind it.
Okay.
You know why? Because there's always one person on the red carpet that is not as glamorous as everybody else. There's always that one crazy person who thought they had it right, and they don't. And I think Milk was that. I think that it was very risky for her to, A, have that dress, that hair, and everything, and then be pregnant on top of that, and then those socks and shoes. Like, that was definitely worst dress on Fashion Police. Joan Rivers would not have it type of moment. I didn't mind it. I thought it was, once again, Milk being the type of person where she's like, I'm not going to be glam like everyone else. I'm going to be that one crazy one that just looked like she threw something together and is going to go in and win a Tony.
I think it's going to hurt her in the long run.
I think they're slowly getting tired of it.
Right.
But I think now her challenge is to be glam. And I think when she does, she's going to pull that off. She's going to be uncomfortable, but I think she's going to pull it off.
I think, I would agree with that.
Okay. It just jumped in my head. So
I did not like Gia's exit. I thought she was a real bitch.
Yeah, that was a jerky exit where she's like, y'all are just men.
well, she's bitter.
There have many people who are bitter when they think about all the people who went first.
That's true.
They're bitter.
But you know what, though?
She's still nice.
But you know what? Yeah. I was actually shocked. I actually didn't think Gia was going to go home this week or this soon. I
didn't either.
I thought that she deserved to be in the bottom two, but I also thought Milk should have been in the bottom two with her. I don't think Laganja should have been in the bottom two.
I think Milk was saved by her runway.
I agree.
She well.
I agree, because Laganja wasn't bomb in the Snatch Game. I think
But
it's like,
Laganja's look was well too. I think Milk just had such a shock value to it that to punish him for that would have to us been like, that's wrong.
But judging from the Snatch Game, I think if you were to judge, I think Laganja was better than Milk, because I didn't like. And if you're gonna go by just Snatch Game, I think Nicki Minaj, that tanked for me. That was just probably the worst. And I know I love Trinity. I think she's a great queen. I just didn't see enough of that.
Because you saw nothing.
I kind of tanked.
Milk's, fortune for the bold. Milk said, look, balls to the wall, and it paid off for him. It saved him this week. The judges said, Milk, can we see something different? Tony, you're exactly right. Will he give you glam? And if he does, can he pull it off? I think he can. I think he'll be flawless.
I think he will be. I think he's playing the game.
You think so?
Yeah. He's like, I could do that. I would be uncomfortable, but I could be like that. But this is my aesthetic. And even in his video, his audition tape, none of his looks were glam. And each look had a different name, and it was just as interesting and creative as the next one.
You know what's interesting? I think he said it. For me, I kind of don't. When the show first began, I don't want to watch any interviews. I don't want to watch anything because I want that first impression when they walk through the door in the first episode. I want that to be my first impression. And I guess I should go back and watch the interviews and meet the queens. But I feel as though when they shoot the show, you guys, when they first walk out, I think that's an important reveal for your character and for
of course.
And when she first came out, I took notice and I thought I was like, oh, this is it. She's gonna be interesting. But now I feel I'm getting to the point where I want to see something different.
For me, I think the best characters watching over the last 4 seasons, the best characters that have been the ones that in the long run have kicked ass, have been the ones that have come out not as powerful, but Willem.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Versus Laganja, Team 6, rated, just...
Come on, season 6.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like when you...
Come on, fish.
And I think that, especially Bianca,
Kenny.
I think they're all... Where are we going? I'm getting annoyed by her. I really am. And it started with the Untucked. It started when I first saw it, and I agree. It's like the whole turban thing. She wants this attention, but at the same time, keep going? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Laganja is someone that has planned...
Stephen's doing this.
Not only
that means keep going.
She's not only planned her looks for the runway, but she has planned her boy looks as well when she walks into the workroom.
Who, Laganja?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's annoying. We're wrapping up. Any more comments before we throw it into predictions about the episode?
I'm just curious as to who you thought was the most Ru. Because I had two, too.
I'm trying to think because I was watching it at Mickey's last night. I thought
every Monday night at 9 p.m. in West Hollywood.
I thought the girl. Honestly, I would have to see them again and be like, okay, boom, because it was so
quick, fast,
very quick and fast. But my favorites, and I shouldn't have favorites because I know them all, but I really am a fan of Laganja, and after last night, I'm even a bigger fan of Laganja. Seeing her perform live, ridiculous, hands down, one of the best drag performances I've seen in a long time. And I definitely like Bianca Del Rio. But they're all amazingly talented. So
I think the two are Darian and Courtney.
Really?
Oh no, Courtney Act. Yes, boom. Thank you so much. Yes, that Bob Mackie,
that 1990s VHS
that outfit
realness
was great. But I was watching because for you viewers, I like theater queens. I like queens who do acting in their shtick. So for me, Jocelyn had these movements that were so Ru. Like the outfit was Ru, but the movements, like she was coming out and giving me the cover girl.
Very under the radar.
Yeah,
and she's very likable.
She's very Ivy Winters. She's the Ivy Winters of this
especially in Untucked, how she defends people, and she really. I've never really seen her say anything bad towards anybody.
Right.
And I think that's gonna resonate with. Well, I like her because at first I was just like, who?
I think she. You're right. She is an Ivy Winters.
You know what I mean? Just cute and likable and whatever. I'm just here for the party.
Yeah.
She's gonna be Miss Congeniality.
Yes.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Before we throw into predictions. All right. Well,
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, what are we predicting for next week?
I didn't see the previews.
I have no
My
prediction.
DVR cut off.
Really?
I ain't seen no previews for next week.
I didn't see them because I watched the show on logo.com.
Well, I'll tell you next week we have Eve and Trina as the guests.
I love
judges.
Trina.
Nice.
She's the baddest bitch.
So
that sounds like a singing challenge.
In that case, I feel like
where my people at?
I feel like Laganja is going to turn it up.
Or it could be a dancing challenge.
I feel like she's going to be on top.
I didn't see the preview either. I apologize because I watched it online as well, and they don't have it online.
You guys you will be thoroughly surprised next episode.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why is that, Jason?
I feel like there's going to be some twerk action going on.
Peanut butter,
That's my
peanut
part.
butter.
That's all our time. Where can we find you guys? Let's start with Jason.
You can find me on Twitter at JDC Forever, also on Facebook at the Jason J. Carter fan page, and at saywhatwebshow.com.
And also, don't forget, WoW presents the Pit Crew.
Oh, Pit Crew
show.
every Thursday, 1 p.m.
Oh,
on
Pit Crew.
Yes.
Tony?
You can find me on all social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Lounging with Tony, or on my website, loungingwithtony.com. And don't forget to subscribe to Lounging with Tony on YouTube.
Are you done?
Now I am.
Jackie?
At 123 Jackie_B on Twitter, at 123 Jackie B on Instagram.
And you can find me at KAYSEEH25 next to Jackie. Instagram, Twitter, all
Yeah,
that good
you guys
stuff.
can
Thank you
find
for
Kenny's if
watching.
it's too hard to spell for
Make a
me.
comment. Hit us up on iTunes, Twitter. That's
We
it,
do
guys.
respond to comments.
Cam wants us to body roll out.
Oh, I can't do that.
Okay, I can't roll out.
Can I get a maniacal laugh from Jackie with her mustache?
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.